Why does herpes make you question your worth? And why does it feel like your entire world changes the second you get that diagnosis? For a lot of people, the moment they hear the word herpes, they let it decide how they see themselves. Like suddenly they're less than or unworthy of love. But here's the truth. It's not the diagnosis itself that makes you feel that way. It's that herpes brings up old feelings to the surface. Things you've probably been carrying around for a really long time. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about where those feelings come from and 3 steps that you can take to start healing from the deeper beliefs that herpes tends to stir up. Hi, I'm Dupree, and I help people to navigate life with herpes. If this is your first time listening to the Herpes Wellness Podcast, I want to welcome you. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm really glad that you're here because it tells me you're ready to start healing, not physically, but emotionally. Let's face it, physical symptoms can be managed with medication, but what about the emotional symptoms herpes causes? That's what most people have the biggest challenge with. Doctors are quick to treat the physical ones, but what never gets addressed is the emotional impact it has and how to heal so that you can move forward with your life. I mean, let's be honest. We all get stuck in our heads about what herpes means, not just because of the stigma, but because of what it now means for our lives. For example, when I was first diagnosed, like many of you, I thought my life was over. I blamed myself, I questioned everything, and I honestly believed that no one would ever want to be with me again. But along my journey, I realized that herpes didn't change me, and I was still the same person I'd always been. What it did do, though, was reveal things that were extremely eye-opening, and it forced me to face parts of myself that I had no clue even existed. So what are they? They were the doubts, the insecurities, and the limiting beliefs that I'd been holding on to about myself for a really long time. And once I discovered what they were and worked to heal the wounds that were buried deep in my subconscious long before I received my diagnosis was when I finally started to take my power back from herpes. Now, I want to start off by saying that what I'm about to talk about is very unconventional when it comes to having herpes. And before we begin, I first want to mention that I am in no way downplaying the fact that herpes is life-changing. There's no doubt about it. From the moment you receive your diagnosis, you probably felt that life as you knew it had changed and that all that you hoped for and dreamed about for your future was gone. I felt the exact same way many times. But here's the truth, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. Herpes isn't the thing that's actually holding you back from the life that you want. It's what it brings up to the surface that is. Herpes literally opens up Pandora's box, and everything that you've been programmed to believe about yourself before your diagnosis comes flying out. It makes you look at the parts of yourself you may have been avoiding, the parts where you question your worth, worrying about being loved, feeling embarrassed or shameful, or fear of being judged or abandoned. This is why receiving a diagnosis can feel overwhelming and even devastating, because it's not just about herpes. It's about everything it stirs up inside of you. And once you start to see it for what it is, you realize your diagnosis isn't here to take anything from you. It's actually here to show you what still needs to be healed inside of you. After I received my diagnosis, I truly believed that herpes was the thing that was responsible for destroying my self-esteem and my confidence. But when I started to really sit with all the emotions that herpes triggered, I realized that herpes wasn't responsible at all. Herpes didn't create my fear of rejection or my insecurities about being abandoned or unworthiness. Those feelings and those beliefs, they were already there, and my diagnosis just forced me to finally face them. And maybe, just maybe, this is happening to you too. You get diagnosed and suddenly it's not just about herpes anymore. It's the fear of being judged, the fear of being rejected, and the fear that you'll never be wanted or loved again. But here's the thing, and I want you to keep an open mind about what I'm going to say. All those thoughts you're having, they didn't start with herpes. They started a long time ago. You see, herpes dredges up very familiar and uncomfortable feelings from the past that we all push deep down in order to avoid the pain those feelings caused. And as time goes on, we tend to forget about those feelings in the forefront of our mind, or at least we think we do. And then we go about our lives as if everything is okay until something like herpes comes along, rips the Band-Aid off, and exposes our wounds. Maybe your wounds came from childhood where you grow up feeling like love had conditions. Maybe it was a parent who made you feel like you had to earn approval, and when you didn't meet their expectations, you felt unworthy. Maybe you were bullied, picked on, teased, or constantly compared to someone else. Or maybe you loved and thought someone would always be around and then that person left. This is why herpes feels so deeply personal, because it challenges your identity and it makes you look at how you see yourself and what you truly believe deep down about who you are and what you believe you deserve. And while all these emotions can feel intense and super uncomfortable, it's also the point where real healing begins. Because when you finally face the deeper stuff, the stuff that's been shaping how you move through life and how you truly see yourself, whether you know it or not, and you begin to heal and learn to reshape your beliefs, that's when herpes loses its power. You stop seeing yourself as broken, unworthy, unlovable, and anything you're feeling, and you start realizing that what's actually been hurting you this whole time isn't your diagnosis. It's actually the old wounds that it uncovered. Now that we've talked about what herpes can bring to the surface, let's get into how you can start working through it. Have you ever heard of the terms shadow self or shadow work? If you have, great. If you haven't, to give you a little context, the shadow self is a concept created by Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist that represents the unconscious parts of the psyche that people often reject or are ashamed of. It's made up of all the parts of yourself you've pushed away, which includes the emotions, the memories, and the beliefs that you were taught to hide. These can be repressed emotions, such as anger, sadness, fear, grief, shame, and guilt, or healed unhurts, such as feelings of unworthiness or low self-esteem. Then something comes along like herpes and unleashes your shadow self and brings all those same repressed emotions that you stuffed down a long time ago back up to the surface. And until you face those head on and do the shadow work to release them, your emotions and herpes, for that matter, will continue to have a grip on you. That said, I'm now going to share 3 things that help me to heal from the emotional toll that herpes causes, and that you can do yourself at home to help you to uncover the hidden beliefs that you've buried, especially the ones that herpes may have triggered, so that you can begin to heal and move forward with your life. Number 1, I want you to grab a piece of paper or a journal if you have one, and start by writing down every negative thought you have about yourself right now when it comes to your diagnosis. I want you to be really honest with yourself here. Don't hold anything back, no matter how crazy it may seem or feel. Number 2, look at everything you wrote down and pick the one that affects you the most. Then ask yourself, where did this really come from? See how far back you can remember the first time that you ever felt that way. I mean, maybe it was something someone said to you or a moment that you felt rejected or unseen. Then 3, write every single detail down about that memory. I mean it. I want you to write everything down. First, describe the moment, and then who or what made you feel that way, and what you started believing about yourself and why because of it. These 3 things, as simple as they may seem, are the starting point on your path to healing. Because once you know where your thoughts come from, you can finally stop letting them define you. You'll recognize that they are just triggers from the past. And when those same thoughts come up again, when you think about your diagnosis, and believe me, they will, you'll now have the power to change the narrative and choose what you want to believe about yourself instead. Being consciously aware of the stories you were programmed to believe puts you in the driver's seat of your mind and gives you the opportunity to replace any negative feelings and emotions with positive ones. But here's the catch. You have to want to do the work, and you have to want to change the way you see yourself and your condition. And it's not a one and done thing, and change isn't going to happen overnight. You repeat the process over and over again until you start to feel the rewiring taking place. And look, this work can get super uncomfortable. You might cry, you might get angry, you might even want to stop, and that's normal. That's just part of the process. Let it happen and come back to it when you feel comfortable. And here's another thing. If you haven't arrived at a place yet where you're ready to begin the healing process and you're still grieving your diagnosis, that's totally okay. Take all the time you need to move through it. Just be sure to show yourself compassion, love, and give yourself grace when doing so too. But while you're grieving, still take time to write down all your emotions because they're super raw, and then come back to part 2 of this exercise when you're ready. Because every time you face one of your old beliefs, you take your power back and you stop letting herpes or anything else for that matter define who you are. Well, that's all I have for today. If you liked today's episode, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to invite you to join our free online community by downloading the Herpes Wellness app. There, you'll have free access to our forums where you can ask questions, seek advice, and help other members along their journeys. And for a limited time, anyone who signs up for the free support membership, we're going to upgrade you to the Connection membership, which includes access to a whole bunch of cool features, like a listing in our member directory and member search, direct messaging with other members, a group and love connection chat lounge, member-led events, both virtual and in person, plus monthly live streams with me where we talk about everything herpes. Normally, this membership is $19 a month, but you'll get this access for free for as long as you remain a member. And if you're wondering about privacy, we've got you totally covered. The app icon and push notifications say H Wellness. So if someone happens to see your screen, you won't disclose your status unintentionally. So be sure to join us at Herpes Wellness. The link to download the app for both the App Store and Google Play is in the description box below. And if there are any herpes topics you'd like for me to discuss on the show, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you the next time on the Herpes Wellness Podcast. Bye for now.